So today we're going to be looking at um, work from the videos that we've seen by Dr. Livingston. Dr. Livingston talks about the human scale, and he talks about the republic and how it all kind of starts as most everything within Western civilization. It starts in Greece and it kind of expands outward, Greece and Rome. But then you have the works of Thomas Hobbes. Hobbes comes up with this other view. Um, so the Greeks and Roman, Aristotle, and that they come up with this whole thing of republics. Republics are small; they're very contained units, and they feel that it's something that a natural order which people fall into. Hobbes actually says that this human scale, this what we call our politics and our government, actually is something that is created, is something learned, and it's very close to what we are seeing today. Our society today is definitely based off of the Hobbes view and state. This is the same thing that the French create as they've create their after the French Revolution, and it's also very unique. Now, there's another individual who um, Dr. Livingston actually also brings up in an article he wrote that basically talks about David Hume. David Hume's he kind of puts a cautionary about having large monarchies, large governments, large any sort of government. And this, in all actuality, you can even see in history where this is actually very, very prudent and very important for any government to actually be a large government, they have to be able to take care of their people. If they're not able to take care of their people, then there's an issue, there's a problem. And this is what comes into a problem with large monarchies, large governments, large any form of country. And the favorite examples that I like to look at is ones who've turned to communism at this point, but back in the day, the Sун dynasty in China actually were sitting there. They had this. They were huge. China was huge, and it had all these other sections. Korea. It had all the Vietnam. All those little other little areas that they were part of China, but they weren't producing any wealth. They weren't bringing in enough revenue. So what do? They're like, cut it off. We'll shrink it. We'll pay them to go ahead and we'll give them money to have their own army. They can go defend themselves. They can be their own country, but we're going to save money in the long run. And this actually allows them to last from 960 to 1279 because they cut off. Now, grant, then they're overran by the Mongolians, but it's also the fact that it's self-preservation because they realized that their country had gotten so big that they were losing money. They weren't able to take care of the people. And part of the Chinese politics way that or their politics work is a government is only useful up until the point that it is no longer serves the people. Because the people are to serve the government's supposed to serve the people. If at any point that they're not able to, they change governments. The same thing can be noted in the fact when you look at the USSR. When Russia actually had, after World War II, it took over all these countries and they're having to pay to cover for Georgia, for um, Poland, for the Ukraine. All those they're all supposed to be contributing to Russia, but Russia needs to actually be able to supply for them and everything else and keeping a military, and they're not able to do it. And this is where they end up breaking apart. And this is with any country. This is why a large government is not a very safe government. Anytime that we start talking that we want to expand, just like in empire, any sort of empire and everything else, same thing. Thank you so much, and you folks have a great day. I'll see whoever's out at the graduation